Hey everybody, it is Saturday and today's Draw the Line. Today's more positive story. Take it as you want it. I am sure that most of you that have seen this probably know about the Tim Pool versus Twitter on Joe Rogan's podcast. Now, I can't play Joe Rogan's podcast. Want to need more subscribers too. I also would be like a DMC claim and got enough of those already. So, great. And my board is acting up again. There we go. Just rebooted it. So, what I really enjoyed was Tim Pool really sticking it to Jack Dorsey and his lawyer there, which, I mean, got him a bunch of times. So, I hope that you've seen it. It was pretty awesome. I haven't seen all of it, all like 3 hours of it yet. I have started watching it, then get distracted, and I saw him go against debating Antifa and the Proud Boys about the ideology of misgendering, and he did a wonderful job. I also watched Tim Pool as well, and he said he could have done a better job. I love his modesty. A lot of times you get these people and they got the ego the size of a small planet, and it's just offsetting. I mean, you think you're the greatest, you think you're the best, you think you're always right. I want to have a conversation. In order to have a conversation, you have to go in the conversation with the prospect that you could be wrong, and then look for the evidence that is being and analyze that and the evidence that's being brought against you, and as well as evidence that you have that you're bringing towards your case. So Tim Pool does a great job. I think he has some issues from college because some people have blasted him, but he still has a job because he's left twice and so forth, and has done stuff on his own. So I am going to make him look kind of a little bit like Hellspawn because, well, that's just awesome. I'm just going to leave that there. When I searched up photos of it, I didn't realize that he is missing some hair, but that's why he wears the cap all the time. So he's a great guy. He grew up in Chicago, and so I think I'm a little endeared because I grew up in Illinois. I didn't grow up in Chi-Town, but I grew up near Little Chicago. For those historians out there that know what I'm talking about. So, what started this whole thing off was Joe Rogan had Jack Dorsey on, and a lot of people were PO'd because he gave him softball questions. And Joe actually, in some of the clips that I've seen, some of the interactions I've seen, he actually kind of went off on. I mean, Joe he's not hard hitting kind of a guy. I mean, he might be in the ring when he was, a fighter, but he normally is trying to find middle ground most of the time. So is Tim. They just have different ways of doing it. Tim's a little bit more staunch on it. So when they were talking about transgender in sports, and people being banned off Twitter for going against saying that, men are not women, which is, true. Because you can think you are, or whatever you think you are, but when it comes down to chromosomes, no, you don't have a choice in that. I don't have a choice in it. Nobody has a choice in it. My siblings don't have a choice in it. there will forever be an XY or an XX chromosome. So I found a rockabilly station I just like a lot better than the jazz. You can see them get a little fired up. So I thought Tim did a great job, like I said before, just repeating my stance there. And it was great because he was pointing out that, even feminists lose their like feminist card and get deplatformed because they merely have a disagreement, or they're just typing in a letter. Like some people were trolling by typing an N, and one person would type an I and whatever. And me being the person I am, I don't understand what is this fear with words. I have no problem with words. Problem I don't have, and I understand a lot of people do, because I keep hearing, words have power. Words have, only power words have is the power you give them over yourself. Like, what they tell you about demons. Only power demons have are the power you give over the demons. Not that I believe in that stuff either, but, that's the same ideology that I'm reflecting on this. Okay. If you choose to have an emotional response to certain words, then you're choosing that emotional response. You're choosing to be offended. So, just like with the Pepe meme, it was a meme. It was a drawing done by a Mexican artist, Latin artist, whatever you want to call them. All right. And then it gets labeled as a hate crime because people were taking it and putting the Nazi symbol on it. Like, oh, you can't do that. Well, heck, we refer Nazis to everything these days. Seinfeld referred Nazis to the soup. Remember the soup Nazi? Grammar Nazi? We have used that as a reference to someone being over totalitarianism, over or authoritative, over another person, over a certain subject or thing. Okay. And in doing that, have we taken the power away from what that word represented and diminished it? Or have we just added more disdain for other things because of the reference it makes? Nazism was about an Aryan race. It was about a state was more important than the people of the state. Okay. It was it stands for socialism, actually. Have we taken that to a different meaning? Have we applied it to too many things and it's lost its meaning? Again, I'm saying meaning on purpose because it's about the word of the meaning. We could have used any other phonetic sounds to describe what a Nazi is or what a Nazi represents. But historically, that's what came up and that's what we use. So someone that is like overly critical about word use, like whether or not use a correct past tense of was or seen or saw. Oh, does it sound right? The reason why it sounds right is because we've been taught that since birth. If we were taught the other way, then the other way would sound right or more correct than saying seen. I had seen that before. I have saw that before. I saw that in your bag. I have seen that in your bag. So anyway, going from language all the way to what Tim Pool did. I'd highly recommend watching Tim Pool and a lot of his stuff. It's a good time. He does not really, he poses a lot more questions. He's more what a true journalist should be. So, I enjoy his show. I enjoyed that he went up against Twitter. And it really showed Jack Dorsey either A, does not know what's going on in this company, doesn't really care. B, also has a certain ideology to protect certain